And now, Ghana's housing deficit reduced by some 33% from 2.8 million in 2010 to 1.8 in 2021, partly due to the real estate growth and 72.8% increase in residential structures. At the State Housing Company Legacy Courts commissioning, Minister for Works and Housing Francis Asenso Boakye emphasized the government's role in supporting private sector in the construction of more housing units. We have more in this report.
Ghana's housing deficit witnessed a 33% reduction from 2.8 million in 2010 to 1.8 million in 2021, partly attributable to the boom in real estate and a 72.8% increase in residential structures within the period. Speaking at the commissioning of the State Housing Company Legacy Courts, Francis Asenso Boakye highlighted that government is going to be actively engaging the private sector moving forward.
Government is not interested in directly developing and selling. The government's interest is to offer support to the private sector so that the private sector can develop, can take the lead in housing construction. What the private sector lacks is the support from government, and that is what this government seeks to do by providing that support in the form of subsidies, by providing free unencumbered land, which is important because you know how land is very important in housing construction, and sometimes our land tenure system makes it difficult for people to access unencumbered land. But government is leveraging on public lands to do that. And one big important component of housing development is what we call horizontal infrastructure, which is the roads you see, the curbs, the drains, the sewage, electricity, water. Government is also leveraging on its traditional responsibility of infrastructure provision to make sure that the cost of housing will reduce, so that when the private sector comes in, already the cost has reduced. Therefore, it will translate into the reduced prices for the Ghanaian workers who are interested in owning their own homes. So that's exactly what we're doing.
However, the managing director for State Housing Company, Kwabena Ampofo-Appiah, indicated that the construction of the 198 housing units in Adenta would serve as a building block for constructing other housing units nationwide, adding that the various housing units will target mid-income earners and revenue accrued from sales will be used to fund the construction of other housing units.
The concept of this estate was to serve as a support system for our affordable housing project. So for those of you who are aware, we have an affordable housing project under construction now in Pokuase and also in Koforidua and in other areas. So we built this to sort of target the mid-income earners, put a little bit of a premium on the pricing so that the revenues that we generate from such estates, we're able to push it to support the affordable housing initiative. That way the government does not need to come up with any money for our developments. This entire edifice that you see, we didn't take one city from the central government. It was all 100% funded by the deposits of the buyers and also through our own internally generated funds. By rolling it out that way, we are able to also support our affordable housing initiatives without necessarily relying on the government's support for money. We are focusing on the mid to low income sectors for now. So if we say we're talking about low income, we're talking about people who lawyers, police officers, nurses, etc. Those whose income might not be able to, without support or subsidy, will not be able to buy a home on their own. I mean, our research shows that in Ghana, close to about 60% of the population will not be able to buy homes without some form of intervention from the government. So there are projects like the one in Pokuase, in Koforidua, and other areas. Those are the ones that we target. And we're able to do that because the government provides the off-site infrastructure like the roads, electricity, and water. By so doing, we're able to save the cost and transfer those savings to the end user. This development that you see have zero government subsidy, because at least we are targeting the mid-income area, so the government does not need to support them. So whatever that you see here, they are paying the full price plus the premium that I said that we use to support affordable housing.